All right, and we're back for episode 10 of the Couch Cricketer, milestone episode. I'm here with my trusty co-host Satish. Can you believe it's episode 10?
I simply cannot. Again,
It's,
we've persisted, lasted.
we had a bit of a
It's a
hiatus there. I think it's been just under 3 weeks since our last episode. So big apologies to the viewers. We have been intently watching every IPL game, and so that's not really an excuse, but here we are. So I'm going to start today's episode with CSK, CSK, C. Man, what a show today! What a show today! It was good. It was really good.
I think there was only one winner today. It was pretty obvious with the way everything started. It was a bit
Yeah.
of a fun and games at the end, but I think it was a kind of a class act.
Yeah, I think you know what one of the we started the IPL just over 2.5 weeks ago. I think Friday will be 3 weeks completed.
Yeah.
Plus, so about 2.5 weeks, and there've been some incredible games. There've been some very close ones. There've been some games, particularly for SRH, where they really should have won them, but somehow batting collapses and they haven't managed to chase down totals. Um, and then there've been those games where you never really thought that the chasing side would actually be able to chase it, but then they pull out a class act towards the end. So it's been ups and downs. I think we've had one super over, right, between Delhi and it was last weekend. Um, and what are your thoughts so far, Satish? How do you think the IPL has gone so far? We've had some big names come up. We've had some colossal collapses. What are your thoughts?
I think it has thrown up like every single year. It's thrown up a few future prospects and a few really
Yep.
good players. Again, Devdutt Padikkal is kind of so the way his arms extend and that literally it's like a square drive, but literally goes in the air and falls, travels 80 meters. So the extension of the arms it's we haven't seen a left-hander like that, a tall left-hander
Yeah.
who could literally play with the Caribbean flair, quite literally.
Yeah.
Some of the shots are just like so. I would say some of this, and the funny thing is there have been some listless old captains. There's been some listless new captains.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a mix. I think the thing for me is that David Warner has had the worst
Yeah.
IPL. It's
And
not something isn't clicking. Something isn't
yeah.
working.
And right in the beginning, when all before all of this started and the squads were coming together, I frankly thought that SRH was probably one of the strongest sides going around, with Bhuvi and Nattu at the top, having Rashid Rashid's spin has always been consistent. Having Warner, Bairstow, Roy, Kane, Williamson, they've got a classy side, and they're just simply it just hasn't come together for them. Obviously, Nattu is out of the IPL. Bhuvi was on the sidelines today, so he wasn't playing either. So I don't know if that's injury related, but I don't know. They've completely come apart, and it's very surprising for one of the teams that had very good prospects.
It's just it's not gelled. They're not gelled as a team. Again,
Yep.
one bit works, the other bit doesn't work. And I think there's been today. If you look at today's game, there's very smart batting. They're waiting for Rashid Khan to bowl. Again, he cannot bowl six balls which are unplayable. There is going to be one long hop.
Which
He's
is
a leg
loose, yeah.
spinner after all. So they waited for that one ball and just literally carted it outside the ground. So yeah, he picked up a few wickets, but again, 4 overs for 36 is something kind of unheard of. I've heard of Rashid going for 36 of 8 overs, not
Yeah.
4 overs.
Sure. No, I think there've been some very good games right down to the wire. A number of times we've seen with RCB. I think there's a couple of games where you would have thought they would have been able to defend the total, but then collapses. I don't know. It's been interesting. And what's kind of another team that I wanted to point out is KKR. Before the IPL started, one of the episodes you and I were talking about Owen Morgan and, a class act of a captain that he is steering the English side. And we were talking about the brand of cricket. When it comes to white ball cricket, he plays very aggressive, right? Going from ball one. Again, another example of a side that just simply has not come together. There have been some individual standout performances, but as a team, KKR, I don't see that they've actually come together with some kind of consistency. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they also need to kind of change some of the personnel around. Again, no offense meant. Again, they need to look at some of another. There's no finisher. If you see the it's a long lineup, but at the end of the day, it's just again a bit listless. They're not coming together, and you can't expect Russell to win the game for you every single game.
Yeah.
And then it's just. I think this is a golden opportunity for RCB to actually win some gold.
Yeah,
I think they're on a juggernaut, quite literally.
yeah, definitely. They've come together really well. AB, or as we have since started calling him ABCD.
It's
Um,
ABC to Z as well. That
My God,
literally
I mean,
everything.
Virat Kohli said it really nicely yesterday. I mean, this guy hasn't played professional cricket in 5 months, yet he comes out here and he just bats like it's all that he's been doing. Class act, absolute class act yesterday, right?
We were talking about some of the best innings of ABD. In one was in 2009. It beggars believe that he's still around, as in he's still playing the game. And then with players like him on the innings that he's played, times kind of stood still. You
Yeah.
were kind of I regressed about 11 years, so it felt like you're in probably 2009, 2010, the heydays of IPL. But I think it's he just kind of plays around it again. There are lots of reasons why, and I think one of the brilliant things you can see about him is again, he used to be a hockey player. Some of the cricket
Right.
shots that he plays are literally kind of it's where he's taken it from, this 360, which is
Yeah.
good. Again, if you are able to play professionally in two different sports and excel at both, he's going to go down as one of the legends of
One of the
the
greats,
short
one of the greats of the
format.
game. No, 100%. I thought it was a valiant effort from Rishabh Pant and Shimron Hetmai yesterday to go down by one run. Definitely valiant effort. Maybe they could have accelerated a little bit sooner, but more than Rishabh Pant, I think finally we got to see what Hetmar is capable of. We didn't really see him bat a lot last year in the last season. I mean, he came and did a couple of cameos, but to try and take the game deep like that yesterday was the first time I think we saw what he was capable of. We always kind of knew that he was a good hitter, but yesterday was evidence of that. I think
It's a weird thing in the seasons where Nicholas Puran kind of is amongst the runs. Hetmeyer is literally kind of not seen.
correct.
This has not been Nick's IPL, so
Exactly.
this dude is literally shining through.
I was just about to say, in terms of people that we expected to really be amongst it, Puran has really struggled to perform this series. I think Chris Morris is perhaps living up to the hype isn't the right word, but living up to what he went for in the auction, 16 crore or whatever it was.
But the problem
He's been
is
doing okay.
every
He's
other
been amongst the runs, been amongst the
itching,
wickets. Hey.
every other batsman is itching to hit him out of the ground. So it's because of the tag.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but he's
that's
been amongst
why
runs. He's been amongst runs and he's been amongst the wickets too. So at least he's performing, which is good. Another player that I kind of expected a little bit more from was Sanju Samson. We saw a fantastic first innings from him, and then it's kind of dropped a little bit. But then I mean I think he's probably finding some form, some consistency as well. It's just been a bit challenging for him too.
That's always been the problem, right? Again, it's kind of it's a bit difficult to kind of transition from that. Again, I'm
Yeah.
not saying hit 100 every other match, but maybe the pressures of picking a team, pressures of picking the right team, field placements, whatnot. Again, as you know, not everybody's cut out to lead, so it's also kind of probably preying on his mind.
Yeah. No, if we switch over to some other players, if you're comparing, because I mean, you and I, we watched the IPL 2020 with great gusto. So I mean, if we're comparing performances across the two seasons so far, another standout for me has been Glenn Maxwell. What a rock star! He's done so well this season compared to last. Last he did well in the field, but that was really about it. He probably picked up a couple of wickets. Not a great average. Did not do much with the bat at all in 2020. But here we see him really being amongst it for RCB.
The big show has arrived finally.
Absolutely, exactly. Finally, and I think as you mentioned, RCB is definitely the juggernaut of this season. It's really come well together, and frankly, I think CSK is up there too. I mean, we're top of the table now with 6 games and a very healthy net run rate. I think that's to get to that amount of a net run rate this sort of early in the tournament is going to do well. It's gonna take us the distance.
It's funny again if you notice again the top team consistently over the years. Mumbai Indians are kind of middling right now.
Yeah.
And RCB, irrespective of how good they played, they're probably kind of on the reverse. So MI is looking this way and RCB is looking the other. But I think with RCB, I think the reliance on ABD and Virat has reduced a bit, which has kind of helped them. Because the minute both of them got out in every other season, they'll just finish.
Collapsed. Yeah, it's been collapsed.
But now that
a couple of other guys. I mean, talking about RCB, Carl Jamieson has been amongst it. He's been doing well. Harshal Patel, he's right up there, and in the sense, I mean, he's got the purple cap at the moment, right, with 17 wickets after 5 or 6 games, and I think he's going to be the standout. He will keep it. I think he'll hold on to the purple wicket, purple hat. I think. He's a good 4 wickets. I think ahead of the second highest wicket taker in the tournament. So. And I think I remember that very first game where he got 5 for 27 or something, where he took a 5 for in the first game, right?
Yeah.
And Virat Kohli mentioned that Harshal Patel was brought into the team for one reason, that was to be a death bowler, and that's what he does. And he's been consistent. He's been very consistent.
Yeah. He's gone for runs, but again, he has the knack of coming back at you again. If you can kind of bowl pinpoint Yorkers 3 in an over, you can do it naturally, which is kind of some talent.
Yeah. Surprisingly, we haven't seen Jason Roy yet.
I think I understand you have set teams and whatnot, but again, sometimes if you pick and bring a player over, you need to. I think teams need to try the other players. Again, it doesn't hurt. What's the sense in kind of just someone just traveling? Going from one bubble to the other again, then it's very difficult. What's going to happen? They'll throw him into the deep end, and then he will be rusty, and then he will be benched again. I know team strategies are different, but I think he needs to be given a run to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he was brought into the side for a reason. I mean, I'm surprised that after 6 games now, and considering they've lost 5 on the trot, or has it? No, it hasn't been 5. They haven't lost 5 on the go. But again, whatever, considering they've lost 5, I would have expected them to try something a little different. I think they gave Abhishek Sharma a go. He seemed promising, but I guess, the fearlessness that Ruturaj Gaikwad or Devdutt Padikkal have shown is perhaps akin to what we saw from Ishan Kishan, Suryakumar Yadav in the seasons gone past.
Yeah, it's the supreme confidence. Again, you need to. There's a difference between a player and someone who's kind of wants to kind of be a master of what he does.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Again, there are a lot of players around, but I think some you can see, but without naming anyone, some are kind of meant for greatness. The others will just be. They'll be there. Yeah. They'll keep playing. They'll be doing their little bits. But again, for example, people like Shivam Dubey. Again, it's just he's kind of here and there. Looking at him, I think that there is immense potential, but again, transitioning is a difficult scenario, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's just change topics very quickly over to umpiring. Any thoughts on how umpiring has gone this season so far?
The thing is, again, some of them have been good, but in general, what I am not a big fan of is, again, yes, the technology does exist. But for runouts, when the batsman's bat is past the stumps and the stumps are broken, what is the need to call for the third umpire? What happens is, again, what the umpire can literally, the players ask for by saying there is a TV, why don't you ask for it? If I were the umpire, I'll turn around and say, you do my job, I'll do mine. I don't have to ask the umpire when I'm very sure, because you want an umpire to be sure, right?
Yeah.
Because it's wasting about a couple of minutes in a 2020. You and I are going to watch the 100. Imagine in a 100 game and then there's 7 run out attempts and they keep going to third umpire. It's not a 100 anymore. It becomes a one-day match.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm still not entirely on with this umpire call thing. I don't know. Someone I think it was Nazar Hussain explained the logic of umpire's call in one of the documentaries a couple of weeks ago, and sure, I mean the umpire's call is important because if not, every LBW will start. People will start they'll want to go up to the third umpire for every single LBW. So the umpire's call is important, but I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, how accurate is it? How accurate is the ball tracker?
It's a lot of gray. Again, it's neither black nor white. It's just a lot of gray because the point, again, logical reasoning would say if the ball's pitching online and it's hitting the stumps and you the umpire, you called it not out because you couldn't see at that speed and the cameras pick up showing that he's out, then he's out. I know the other law. I know why umpire's call works, and I understand all that.
Yeah.
But again, in a game of black and whites, in a game of kind of straightforward stuff, it's a bit weird to say that the ball hitting the stumps and then he's still there. It's kind of
it is. It's a very but no, I think after the India-England series where the soft signal for a catch outside the 30-yard circle, I think all of that has gone away. So that ambiguity is gone, which is good. I mean, I don't think there's been any major controversies with umpiring. It's largely been consistent, I'd say. What about wickets? What do you think about the wickets? What do you think about the strategy of playing a number of games at each wicket before or each pitch before moving? Do you think it plays against those teams who are sort of playing on those pitches down the line? Obviously the pitch wears and everything and becomes slower and so on. Do you think there's a disadvantage there?
I think the second bunch, because again, with the unfortunate scenario that's kind of unfolding, there's kind of very little you could do about anything else. But I think wickets kind of they tire out because the end of it has been used and used. And again, when the second bunch of teams go out there, the scores drop. Again, okay, this with the CSK match today, one you could say brilliant bowling, but I would also state by the first inning, the ball did not come onto the bat at all. So you saw how desperately they tried. You see the and Dave Warner innings, they're like, what more can I do? The ball
I mean, it should have been, I think, honestly, the way Warner was batting. I mean, he, in the post-match, he said he took responsibility and he was slow and he soaked up a lot of balls and everything. But 15 of his solid shots went to fielders. If 5 of them, even if 5 or 6 of them had gone for boundaries, that's another 24 runs on the board, 20 to 24 runs on the board. And that would have been a very competitive. I mean, they kept saying that 170 was par. I don't think so. I think it's probably more on the 190. And I think you just have to give it to CSK. They in the field, they were incredible today. They really were good. And maybe Jaddu coming back in and sort of energizing the guys up has really done wonders. Although we must also acknowledge that for the first time in a very, very, very long time, MS dropped a catch.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that in a
Jaddu coming back in and sort of energizing the guys up has really done wonders. Although we must also acknowledge that for the first time in a very, very, very long time, MS dropped a catch.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that in a while. So that was kind of that was not a surprise. It's just by saying that he is human after all.
Yeah.
So we are like, how can you drop it? I'm like, hey, everybody has an off day. But I think what's changed for CSK is basically the Moin Ali coming in one down.
Yeah,
it seemed to have kind of opened out.
Swapping him for. I think swapping him for Kedar Jadhav and Raina coming back into the side. Those are the really the big changes. I mean, Ruturaj was there. Like we had Faf, we had Ambati Rayudu, we had Deepak Chahar, we had Dwayne Bravo, MS of course, we had Sam Curran. So I think those two changes have done absolute wonders. Raina coming back into the side is again injected such an amount of energy into the team. They're doing really well. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I think they also have a really solid shot.
Also, we see the response. Dhoni is literally told Moeen, "You go and bat." Like, he's a freewheeling. He's just batting like he's in a dream.
Yeah, he's
Again, I'm not
enjoying
saying
himself.
anything,
Absolutely
but
enjoying himself.
the flow of the bat, it just feels like it's second nature to him.
Yeah.
There's no.
He's having a great series.
No pressure.
Yeah, he's having a great series. I think, especially on the back of all of the, the controversy and whatnot from the India-England series with the test and all that kind of thing. I mean, on the back of all of that noise, I think he's really come out and he's shown what he's capable of in the short format, and it's very pleasant to see. But yeah. So I guess just under 3 weeks in, any predictions for top four?
I would say RCB is going to finish one of them.
Yeah.
I think CSK. Just looking at the stats.
Yeah.
And maybe Delhi Capital, because for some reason they might misfire, but I seem to like the team for some kind. It just has a different kind of a vibe about it.
To it.
Apart from non-smiling Rishabh Pant, who's suddenly gone from a cherubic kind of a little individual to all morose, all just. There's some kind of strategy. If you're a captain, you have to look angry all the time.
Yeah.
And Mumbai Indians probably they'll sneak through. That's the feeling. It's going to be Mumbai, Delhi.
I think they'll sneak through as well. I mean, I agree with your top three. I think Mumbai will end up sneaking through. I mean, they do have a solid side, and they've lost a couple now, but I think it's they've got absolute greats in the side, right from the batting unit to the bowling unit. They've got some incredible talent in there, and I think they will sneak through. They just haven't come together yet. I think, as you said, maybe another game or so, and they'll start coming together.
Well, it's been a long. It's good. Again, I'm not saying it's good that the team doesn't perform, but I'm saying it's for a change to see them literally kind of behave like mere mortals. It's been, as I've always said, but the Mumbai Indians all resemble the Australian cricket team of the 90s. It's so boring, like Roger Federer, but literally we're saying amazing players, amazing team, but you're like, oh my, can I have someone else winning, please?
Let's just get somebody. Yeah, no, exactly. I completely agree. I think again, disappointing, but I'm not sure SRH is gonna get up there unless they win the next 5 or 6, on the trot convincingly to boost the net run rate as well. I think that's perhaps unlikely. KKR, I don't know. I just haven't been impressed with them. I mean, DK has been trying. Owen Morgan's obviously not had a great series. They've had, as I said, some standouts, but they just haven't come together as a team. And
the captain is only as good as the team. He can't just perform miracles for all 11. So
no, of course,
it's a difficult scenario to do where it's. I think they're going to change of personnel for next year.
They started off well though. Let's say, let's be honest. KKR started off well with Nitish Rana, doing really well. Tripathi also being amongst the runs, but I don't know, that first game was good. The second one, they kind of it went okay, but then they've lost a bit of shine. I think Pat Cummins has been consistent, but again, he's also been fairly expensive. He's been amongst the wickets, but he's been expensive. So I don't know. I'm not sure KKR will make it to the top 4. I think the 4th spot is really between Punjab and Mumbai. So the video is just frozen a little bit. Didn't expect that to happen, but no worries. We will. Yeah, so, sorry, Satish, the video just froze over there. Did it freeze for you as well?
I was kind of.
Yeah. No, I was going like, what should I do now?
Let it run. Let it run.
But no, I think I agree with you. I was just saying, I think the 4th spot is going to be a battle between. I think it'll be between MI and Punjab for that 4th spot. if Punjab comes together. I mean, Rahul's against the amongst the runs. I mean, he's always been consistent. He's had his off days every now and again, but I really like the way he bats. I think he's got a lot more left in him. Mayank Agarwal has been good. Chris Jordan played the last game. He was a bit expensive, but he's always consistent.
He's a flyer. He always makes the presence felt.
Exactly. So I think Punjab will make a good run for it. But let's probably catch up again in a week, and we'll see. I think we'll be definitely close to the halfway point for the tournament, and we'll see how things are shaping up.
Yes, definitely.
But last point I wanted to make before we end our session today, Satish, Pat Cummins, what a class act with that donation.
Yeah, again, a leader, a true leader. Again, it's saying is one, doing is completely something else.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Hats off to him for having, because they it's not necessary to do that, but again, it's just the not just kindness of the heart, but it's just that's who he is. I guess that's who he is as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was
Pat Cummins for the next Australian Test captain.
Yeah, I mean, he's really surprised me for an aggressive Australian fast bowler. He is a world apart. He is just not like the rest of them in the sense gravitas. That's what I'll say. He has got that gravitas, the way he speaks, the way he carries himself on the field and off the field. What a class act. Really proud to have seen one of the players, an overseas player at that, be magnanimous. And he himself said, $50,000 isn't a lot of money, but if it can save some lives, that's good enough.
Yeah, because they are right there. They were playing in Delhi today. It's not. They see the news more often than any of us because they literally are living the news. They're living in the news. It's good. Good he's done that. So it's a good thing, right? Again, there's always a question about whether the IPL should be played or not. But I think it's a two-way thing. One, maybe people don't have too worried about other things to think about cricket, or maybe they just see cricket as a solace, something different break into. So I think it's a good thing that he's done that. But as you said, let's kind of catch up.
Definitely.
Week.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Take care, Prakash. Bye now.
Talk next week. Bye-bye.